Hey all, this is Deliberately Creative. I'm Stephanie, and we're going to do this really cute peekaboo kitten. So let's get started. First up, I've got my coffee. I've got a postcard. This is a Hanamule cold press postcard. Comes in these really cute tins. You can get them on Amazon or some craft stores, art stores, specialty stores, whatever. I do have a link down below if you're interested in buying through my link. It is an affiliate link, and I do earn a small commission if you make a purchase. So for this really cute peekaboo kitten, there's only a couple things you need to do. Number one, let's draw a border. And I like my border a little wobbly and a little wonky. If you like your border to be straight, by all means use a ruler or put tape on. But now I've got a border. This helps me to plan out where things are going. I'm going to start my pumpkin. It's going to come up, 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 up. There's going to be a paw and a paw, and then the stem. And then the rest of the pumpkin going off and stopping at the margin or the border. Right now it could be a snowman looking up, couldn't it? Ooh, maybe that's one I'll do next. I don't know. Maybe. You want to see a little snowman with pumpkin stem nose? Let me know. I am putting a few little lines on here. This is a pen and ink doodle sketch. Doodle art drawing. I am doing this for Inktober, just because I wanted something to play with this year. So what I did is I just went and drew a bunch of little lines. Now what I want to do is put these little paws in. These are not anatomically correct paws. These are little kitten paws. You're only going to see 3 of the little fingers, the little paw pads. But he's playing peekaboo, and he's ducked down behind the pumpkin, and all you're going to see of his head is just about that much, because mostly it's his ears. Look at that. We've got one ear. We've got the other ear. The little pockety thing there. The edge of the ear. But yeah, doing this project this month, the Inktober, is getting me really thinking about how can I be as minimal with my ink lines and convey something really cute. This, oh yeah, this just totally cuted out. I'm going to put his little tail on. Look at that. I'm not worried about making this perfect. I'm just having fun. I'm going to say that you can see maybe a little bit of his head right there. A little tiny corner of it there. I will put my little pumpkin face on, and then I'll put the pumpkin grooves. So I'm going to go ahead and go with those triangle eyes. And if you think about it with him, with the pumpkin in the up position, like if this was the top, where would his eyes go? So do it relative to the top of the pumpkin. Ooh, that's a funky looking nose. That one just sort of came out of nowhere. But there we go. The pen that I'm using is the Uniball Signo RT1. It is the UMN 155. You can buy the refills, and I've got those listed down below also. If you like my drawing style, I have a whole Halloween coloring book. It's a gothic horror style, but it is creepy, spooky, but not gory. Because I don't like gory stuff. I'm sounding like a commercial, so I'm not going to be a commercial anymore, except that to say, if you like what you see, click the like button, share the video, and turn on your notifications if you're already a subscriber. I'm going to put my moon on, and that's pretty much it. What I'm going to do next is I am taking this is a brush marker. It is, it's one that I'm not as super fond of it, so I'm not going to tell you what brand it is, but it's the only black brush marker that I had handy. So I'm going to use that to fill in the background. Now, when you're using a brush marker, especially on watercolor paper, it's going to bleed. Knowing that it's going to bleed, I make sure and leave room for the bleeding to happen so it doesn't end up going into my drawing. Remember, I said I wanted to leave a bit of a margin. This is an experiment. I've not used the brush marker to fill in my background, but I wanted to do something that was going to be a little bit quicker than sitting there with a pen and filling in the whole background. That's what I did here, is I just used a 0.03 aught graphic liner, and I just scribble filled the background in. I'm not doing that this time. But here we go. See, I'm leaving that margin around my art. But I'm not leaving a margin at the border. I want to flood right up to the edge of the border. Then I can go like this. So, yes, alcohol markers on watercolor paper, it does absorb a lot more ink. It's not like working on marker paper that the ink sets on top of. This, the ink is going all the way through. And that's okay. I don't have a problem with it. But just be aware, it will run through your pens faster. But since this is one that I'm waiting to hear back from the pen manufacturer about this brand, because apparently there were a few creators who had problems with these pens when they were sent to them. The quality control wasn't really good. So I told them that I would wait and do a review later after they fix their issues. And they're supposed to get back to me. So I am going to go right up to the edge on the moon, because the moon is white or very light. There we go. So it can be dark right up to the edge. And if I go beyond my drawn border, it's just black ink. It's no big deal. This is filling in the background a lot faster than scribbling it with a graphic liner pen, though. I will admit that. Oh, forgot to fill in that little area there. I'm going to flip this over and get this other corner. Remember, always move your paper to make it easier for your hand and your arm and your eyes. Whoop. I say my eyes and then I go wild, I'm crazy there. That's okay. Now I am going to use a pen to fill in a few details on the cat, but most of my drawing is done. This is now just basically coloring in. I'm going to put a few details in the paws. Just a little bit of fur here and there. The Neocolor 2s are like watercolor. They are kind of transparent, translucent, but sometimes they're kind of opaque. So just play with it, have fun. Sometimes you just need a quick little card to say, hey, I'm thinking about you. I'm starting to pick up my Neocolors now. So Neocolor 2 Aquarelle, and these are by Karen Dosh. Any watercolor, gouache, markers, crayons. You can do this, do up a bunch of these little things and use them as favors at a Halloween party. Send them to school with your kid for harvest parties. I don't know if they even do those anymore in the schools. I am going to grab some dark kind of. So first I used the yellow, then I used the orange. Now I've picked up the red orange or flame orange. Putting a little bit of color down inside there. Now I'm probably putting way more color on than I actually need. This is like watercolor, and so it does get blended out with a water brush. That is looking really cute. So what I want to do now, though, is just start getting some color on here. I want a darker orange down here at the bottom, so it feels like he's kind of tucked into that border. And this ends up feeling kind of like a cross between marker and gouache by the time I'm done. I'm going to use this as my dark tone in the grooves. And under the cat's paws, I will probably take a little bit of brown, since I will be using some brown on the stem. Might as well do that right now. Take a little bit of the brown. So what I'm doing right there is just showing you don't have to be super precise with your color placement when you're going to add the other, add some shading and moving the color around. And right now, it very much looks like a coloring book page. You know, like in a kid's coloring book. This would be a really cute kid's coloring book page. Maybe I will do a kid's coloring book at some point with kind of the Halloween or fall theme. I don't know. Anybody buy it? Would you buy it? I'm just going to put a little bit of this yellow just in a few spots. It will lighten things up. I'm going to do all of my water work at the end. So first up here, I like a little pink in the ears. So I'm going to put just a little bit of this magenta and white. In the ears. It's going to get moved around. I will throw a little bit of white right along the edges of the ears, top of the head, and that edge of the tail for the moon. I'm going to put white on the moon because I'm going to add some other colors to it. And I'm going to blend them out and make them look moon-like. And I might even put a little touch of orange because, you know, moonlight is just reflected sunlight. So now we're going to go like this and just put some color. Basically what I'm doing is I'm making myself a magic watercolor page. If you think about it, that's really what putting something like this on, a dry medium that you're going to touch with a wet brush. When you do that, you end up with a magic watercolor page. I remember those magic watercolor books from when I was a kid. It would come pre-printed with the color dyes on the paper, and then you would take a paintbrush and dip it in water. So there we go. Boom. Just start blending this out. This makes a really fun project to do with the kids. Grab the supplies, help them out. I will be putting a darker orange in right on the flesh, in the eyes, but for now I'm just going to kind of leave it. Look at that. Just a little bit of water and it melts that pigment. And like I said, I'm kind of heavy-handed with my pigments. So there's a lot here. You don't have to put so much. You could just do the outline and then work, you know, all of the pen lines, just put your color right next to the pen lines and then you can work it out. I like a really rich, almost gouache-like effect, or almost, yeah, basically almost gouache-like, almost opaque type of feel, but I like the light in them also. So I like being able to have some of that paper lend its effect. But look at that. All right, here we go. This side is with water. This side is without. Your choice. Do it like a coloring book page and just color it with colored pencils or crayons and let the texture of the paper come through. Or use a wet brush and smooth it all out. Very pumpkin-y. I have not wiped my brush off. So there's a lot of that orangey kind of pigment in my brush right now. There we go. If you go from dark colors to light colors, you're going to be blending. If you go from light colors to dark colors, sometimes that doesn't show as much of an effect. I like the pumpkin shells have variation. I'm going to put a little bit of that color right in on that nose now, and right along those eyes. That kind of pumpkin flesh. But we're making our magic coloring page, coloring card. And if you wanted to, you could just use the black Neocolor to color in the whole background if you didn't want to use a marker or, you know, alcohol pen, or sit and scribble the whole background in. There we go. We're almost done with the pumpkin. To clean my brush, all I'm going to do is squeeze it into a towel. I do not know what brand this is. It just says Push on the sides. I think it came with a paint palette at one point. There's lots of different water brushes out there. You could do this just with a plain old brush and a cup of water though. I'll let this dry a bit. So what I'll do is go over and start working on the kitty cat after I clean my brush. So I'm just taking a towel, and I'm squeezing so some water comes out, and just rub it on the towel, whatever toweling you have. And now the brush is clean and ready to move. I am going to go ahead and just soften up those colors on the moon. Just like that. And I am letting it go outside onto the ink in the sky, the glow of the moon. There might be something atmospheric going on. I'm going to pick up a little bit of the black from the cat. Make those little moon craters, just picking up that little bit of black from the cat. But now I want to make sure I don't have black on him. I'm just cleaning the brush again. There we go. I'm going to move that pink and white around inside of his ears. And I know cats, the inside of their ears are not necessarily that bright. This is an illustration. So I'm going to go ahead and just get the paws. I will go back in with just a little touch of white on top. But first off, I just want to get all of that black just sort of softened up. There we go. See? Just like that. Soften, 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 and then I'm going to just flick some of that into the ear. Yeah, it's still wet inside the ear, so it's going to soften those little furs up. Get the little tail. Try and leave some of that highlight in the background. Remember, I did put a little bit of white on the edge here, I think. Yeah, there, I did. By having multiple different colors, oh, I just saw a spot of the sky black that I didn't get in. right here between the tail and the ear. So I'll go ahead and put that in. There we go. Black sky. I'm going to put a little bit of white. And I might not even get this wet, because I want this to kind of stand on top. Look at that. You can put this right on your wet background, or on top of the wet paint. Oh, he looks so sweet. I'm going to get this stem. Pumpkin stem put in. Just color it up. I'm going to have some of that brown on my brush, and I will use a little bit of that under his paw, coming around the back. Pick some up. If a little bit of orange goes into the stem, that's okay. Like that. Give it a little bit more shape, little shadow around the bottom edge of the stem. Now I could fiddle with this for a while, but I think, there we go. I think that is looking really good. I want to put a little bit more of this sort of darker orange inside for the back of the pumpkin. Gives it more of a flame glow type of look. If you enjoyed this lesson, please remember to like, comment, subscribe, share, all the good things. And go out, do something creative. Take care of yourself so you can take care of those around you. I want to see you back here again really soon. Bye.